Did Bran plan everything in Season 8? Explained. When the final episode of Game of Thrones aired, millions of fans were left with one burning question: did Bran Stark plan everything all along? From the shocking death of Daenerys Targaryen to the surprise coronation of the quiet boy from Winterfell, Season 8 gave us an ending that was as unexpected as it was divisive. Bran the Broken, the boy who could not walk but could see across time, ultimately became the king of Westeros. But was this the result of destiny, or did Bran carefully orchestrate the chaos to secure the throne? Today, we're going to examine the evidence, break down the key moments, and uncover whether Bran Stark truly pulled the strings of the final season. To answer this question, we need to revisit Bran's transformation into the Three-Eyed Raven. His journey began the moment Jaime Lannister pushed him from the tower window in Season 1, setting off a chain of events that led him far beyond the wall. There, under the tutelage of the original Three-Eyed Raven, Bran learned to warg into animals, to enter visions of the past, and to glimpse fragments of the future. By the time he returned to Winterfell in Season 7, Bran claimed that he was no longer really Bran Stark. Instead, he had become something more, a being who remembered all that has ever happened and could see what could be. This evolution is critical when we try to understand whether Bran's rise to power in Season 8 was a matter of fate or manipulation. Season 8 begins with Bran waiting at Winterfell for the arrival of Jon Snow and Daenerys. From the very first episode, his behavior raises eyebrows. He sits silently in the courtyard, staring into the distance, calmly observing the reunions around him. When Samwell Tarly approaches him, Bran delivers one of his most telling lines: "We don't have time for this. We need to tell Jon the truth." He instructs Sam to reveal Jon's true parentage, knowing that Jon's claim as Aegon Targaryen will destabilize Daenerys' position as queen. This is the first major piece of evidence that Bran is setting events in motion. He could have told Jon himself, but instead he delegates the task to Sam, perhaps knowing that Jon will trust the news more if it comes from a close friend. Was this simply a matter of convenience, or a carefully calculated move to sow doubt between Jon and Daenerys? The revelation of Jon's parentage is a turning point in the season. It creates a fracture in Jon and Daenerys' relationship, planting seeds of mistrust that eventually blossom into open conflict. Bran, with his ability to see the past and glimpse the future, must have known the consequences of sharing this information. He chooses his timing carefully, ensuring that the truth emerges just as Daenerys faces mounting pressure from Sansa and the Northern Lords. If Bran's goal was to weaken Daenerys, this move is nothing short of brilliant. Another key moment comes during the Battle of Winterfell. While the Night King leads his army of the dead against the living, Bran spends much of the fight warging into a flock of ravens. Fans have long debated what he was actually doing during this time. Was he scouting the battlefield? Was he attempting to influence the Night King's movements? Or was he ensuring that Arya Stark would be in the right place at the right time to strike the killing blow? Remember, it was Bran who gave Arya the Valyrian steel dagger back in Season 7, the very weapon she uses to destroy the Night King. He tells her cryptically, "It's yours now," without explaining why. It's almost as if he knew she would need it for this exact moment. Whether you view this as prophetic foresight or deliberate planning, Bran's actions clearly set the stage for the Night King's defeat. Then, there's Bran's relationship with Tyrion Lannister. Before the Battle of Winterfell, Tyrion seeks Bran out for a private conversation. The scene ends before we hear what they discuss, but it's obvious that Tyrion is deeply intrigued by Bran's knowledge of the past and present. Later, after Daenerys' death, Tyrion is the one who proposes Bran as king. Did Bran use that earlier conversation to subtly influence Tyrion, planting the idea of his own ascension in the Hand's mind? We'll never know exactly what Bran revealed during that meeting, but the timing is suspicious. Tyrion's decision to nominate Bran feels less like a spontaneous choice and more like the result of careful persuasion. Perhaps the most chilling piece of evidence comes in the series finale itself. When Tyrion nominates Bran as king, Bran responds with a small smile and the now famous line, "Why do you think I came all this way?" With those 7 words, Bran seems to confirm that he knew this outcome was inevitable. Some viewers interpret this as Bran simply accepting fate. Others see it as a confession that he manipulated events from the very beginning. If Bran foresaw his own coronation and allowed countless deaths to occur without interference, then his calm, detached demeanor throughout the season takes on a far darker meaning. But to truly understand whether Bran planned everything, we have to explore the nature of his powers. As the three-eyed raven, Bran possesses greensight, the ability to see the past and glimpse possible futures. Importantly, the show establishes that the future is not fixed. Bran's visions come in fragments and possibilities, not certainties. This means that while he may not know every detail of what will happen, he can predict likely outcomes based on the information he gathers. Imagine a master chess player who can see several moves ahead but not the entire game. Bran may not control the board outright, but he can nudge key players toward actions that make certain endings more probable. This idea of nudging is key. Bran rarely issues direct commands, but he shares just enough information at critical moments to shape events. He tells Sam to reveal Jon's parentage. He gives Arya the dagger. He agrees to serve as bait for the Night King. He withholds crucial details from Daenerys, Sansa, and Jon, allowing tension to build between them. Every move is subtle, but together they create a chain reaction that leads to Daenerys' downfall and Bran's eventual rule. Critics of this theory argue that Bran is not a schemer but a vessel of destiny. As the three-eyed raven, he may simply be an instrument of a higher cosmic order, guiding events toward balance and survival. In this view, Bran's actions are not manipulative but necessary. The destruction of King's Landing, the death of Daenerys, and the dismantling of the Targaryen claim might all be part of a grand design to break the cycle of hereditary monarchy. Bran himself even says that he lives, mostly in the past, suggesting that his humanity has been consumed by the weight of memory. If Bran is no longer Bran Stark, can we really attribute human motives like ambition or greed to him? However, there are moments that complicate the idea of Bran as a purely neutral figure. His decision to accept the crown, for instance, raises eyebrows. Earlier in the season, he repeatedly claims that he does not really want any more. He tells Sansa that he cannot be Lord of Winterfell because he is not truly Bran Stark. And yet, when offered the throne of Westeros, he does not hesitate. Instead, he delivers that knowing smile, as if everything has unfolded exactly as he expected. If Bran truly had no desire for power, why agree to rule at all? Some fans argue that his acceptance contradicts his earlier claims of detachment and suggests a hidden agenda. Let's also consider Bran's lack of intervention during some of the series' darkest moments. If he foresaw Daenerys' massacre of King's Landing, why didn't he warn Jon or Tyrion? If he knew the Night King would attack Winterfell, why didn't he share more detailed battle strategies? One could argue that revealing too much might alter the timeline in dangerous ways. But if Bran's goal was to preserve life, his silence cost thousands of innocent lives. Unless, of course, those deaths served a larger purpose, one that only Bran could see. Another layer to this theory is the idea that Bran represents the triumph of knowledge over chaos. Throughout the series, power has belonged to warriors, schemers, and dragons. But Bran wields a different kind of power, information. He knows every secret in Westeros, every hidden lineage, every betrayal and alliance. In a world where knowledge is power, Bran's abilities make him the ultimate player of the Game of Thrones. He doesn't need armies or dragons, he only needs to wait, to observe, and to share the right piece of information at the right time. By the end of the series, this quiet, seemingly passive boy becomes the ruler of the Six Kingdoms, not through violence or ambition, but through the simple, terrifying force of knowing everything.